Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy to see the number of attendees growing. So let's start a workshop about how SMS marketing can be your secret weapon. If you are here, then I hope it means that you're interested in SMS marketing and either want to know how to start or maybe you want to level up your skills. So, which is exactly what we are going to talk about today. My name is Kate, and I will be your host today. I have a wonderful speaker with me today, Greg, whom people call guru of email marketing and man who knows it all. So, Greg, we are happy to see you here. Go ahead and welcome everyone. Welcome our audience.
Thank you, Kate. Thanks, everyone. Guru is a strong word, but I'm going to do my best to try to get something across to you, and hopefully you can hang up or finish watching this video and implement something right away, which is awesome. So I'll give you a super quick background about me, 30 seconds, just to fill some time, because I know we'll have some time to fill here. I've been in SMS for a long time at kind of the marketing standpoint for almost probably 8 years now. It's a lot easier to do now than it was 8 years ago, but I related a lot now on this trajectory from email marketing. So I've been in email marketing. I'm on my 18th year this year. Might not look it, but 18 years in email. And we're very much along the same trajectory there. So it's exciting to kind of see how it's evolving, but also from an adoption and usability standpoint. So hopefully we'll get something good today, and hopefully we'll get some good questions.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you for the warm welcome. As always, also, we have a great team of experts working behind the scene with us, checking on the technical stuff and answering your questions that you brought with you here today. Please pay attention that we have a separate Q&A tab here. So make sure that you write your questions not in the chat, but in that Q&A tab. So we can make sure that we don't miss your question and you get that answer. Right. Before we move on to the main part, let me briefly go through our agenda today. We will talk about SMS from A to Z. So prepare yourself. What is SMS marketing and why SMS marketing? How to be successful with it, how to create an SMS campaign, how does successful SMS campaign look like, and so much more that Greg prepared for you today. By the end of the discussion, we will have a Q&A session where Greg and I will pick as many questions as we can and give you the answers out loud. So don't worry. We'll try to answer them all. We have, as I already mentioned, people working in the Q&A tab answering all your questions. So don't hesitate, ask them whatever you want. Whenever we were talking about some topic and you feel like asking a question on that topic, just drop it in the Q&A and we'll get to it. Also, don't worry, the workshop is recorded and you will receive it in a couple of days in your email inbox together with a Q&A one-pager that we will prepare for you with all the questions answered inside and more useful resources in there. Also, you can always find our workshop recordings on our YouTube channel. Link is in the chat so you don't lose it. What else? I think the last thing is the survey. Please, when you leave the workshop, no matter what time, there's going to be a short survey when you just log out from Zoom, from this meeting, from this workshop. The link will pop up on your screen. Please answer that survey if you have time. It's like a couple of minutes, and let us know how we are doing. And maybe you have some great ideas for our future workshops that you would like to hear from us. Right, Greg, I can ask you so much about SMS marketing, but first, I really want to ask our audience 2 questions. First question is, do you guys currently use SMS marketing for your brand? Yes or no? Simple question. And the second question is, if you are not using it yet, tell us why. Why are you hesitant? What stops you?
We're going to put a fill in the blank one for the second one, just so we could berate you a little bit if you weren't using it, but we figured that would take too long.
All right, I stopped the poll, so I have answers. Let me share the results.
All right, so we have 63% of the audience, to let everyone know, not using SMS. 37% are, which is probably more than I thought going into this one. So it's really good to know for how questions I might get and then how to frame conversation. Are you hesitant to use SMS? So this is a really good one, and why?
Mhm.
I don't know how to start. About 40%. So that's a pretty good place. That's usually what the hang up with any sort of marketing is, right? Whether it's Facebook ads or Instagram ads or TikTok, right? Getting started. Word, I'll annoy my customers, 60%. So we're pretty good here. And then these numbers aren't really adding up here for me. I got 61, 39, and 10%. So we're 100% over. We're going above and beyond for you today. Maybe someone voted twice. I don't personally use text messaging, so I don't know what 10% those are. I thought this was going to be zero. I thought it was going to be zero. So this is really good though. We have 60% saying I'm worried I'll annoy my customers. This is probably the number one kind of complaint or hesitation that brands will give if I talk to them. Even when I was consulting brands, even with like browse abandonment messages from an email standpoint, this was always the concern. So it's really good that we'll be able to get through it. And hopefully by the end of the presentation and the chat today, you guys will all know how to start, use it more effectively so you don't annoy your customers. And then I'll get the other 10% of you to actually use text messaging before we get off the call today. So really good to
Great.
know.
Yeah, great. Okay, let me stop sharing this and let's then, I think it's a perfect time to jump into our first first question that I wanted to ask you. Tell us, Greg, why SMS marketing is relevant. And if it's relevant, if you prove us that it's relevant, how does it impact my marketing or like our customers' marketing or sales?
Yeah, so I just shared my screen. Hopefully everyone can see it. If not, just feel free to interrupt me. But this is why it's relevant here. We've just seen massive growth over the last, 4 years specifically, but even before then, it was growing. Like you go back 8 years ago when I was talking about brands were adopting it, but they were still trying to figure out how to use it. Consumers were figuring out whether it was valuable for them or not. And I think we've hit that tipping point in the last couple of years. So this is from Omnisend data that we pull through all this, and we've got these stats reports. You can go to our website at the resources section. They're not gated, so you can just check out all the stat reports year over year to check out what people are doing well. And we have SMS sections in there. But look at the growth. I mean, 2019 to 2020, close to 400% year over year growth here, but we continue to grow even after that 400%. What this ultimately tells us is that one, brands are adopting it. And why are brands adopting it? Because consumers are adopting it, right? So you've got to have one or the other. Every brand can offer it. If consumers aren't signing up, they're not sending messages, and you're not seeing this year over year growth. That is, to me, the most compelling thing. Now, I know we have January 1st through April 17th, weird dates, I know, but I happened to pull those numbers a couple of weeks ago for something else. I was looking at growth year over year. So far, even after that 62% last year growth, the 75 to 400 before that, we're still on track to grow 50% this year. My guess is this will pick up come Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is why it's the most important thing. We sent over 100 million messages last year. We're seeing the growth, but more importantly, brands are seeing the orders come from the messages. So last year we had a 24% increase in SMS related orders, but they were not cannibalizing email orders. And that's the important thing here as well. SMS, almost everyone texts. There's maybe 10% of the people online that don't text right now, right? But so we'll say 90% of people text, not everyone texts, but 90% of people text. It's a trusted channel. Everyone knows how to use it. It's quick, it's immediate for them, but that's really the important thing. And that's why I say this is why we need to start playing with SMS a little bit, experimenting and figuring out how it fits into your marketing stack, whether it's a primary channel or a complementary channel. I'll show both of those things today, but that's why it's important for you. It's adopted and everyone's using it.
Right. Okay. That's very convincing. These numbers are convincing. I'm thinking to be successful at SMS, building SMS campaigns, you know how to do that, right? And here's the question that I want to ask our audience. Do they have difficulty creating SMS messages? SMS campaigns inside Omnisend. Let me run a quick poll and see what our audience think. Okay, let's give it 30, 40 seconds because it's a quick question, yes or no. Let us know.
Yeah, and as we move through the conversation and a couple of the slides today, I don't have a lot of slides for you, but we have a couple here for you. Some of the things we'll talk about are, we'll show you some examples of SMS campaigns and different ways to use them as well. We'll show you how some customers are having good results from these and how it's impacted their overall sales and revenue uptick. So hopefully there's something for everyone in the presentation today and the conversation today about how to use them and use them more strategically as well. Of course, we can't cover everything. So one of the big talking points, which questions we get a lot on the more advanced side, is how do I use them inside of automation and balance that with email? I'll touch a little bit on that today, but you also have the Q&A section and our contact info. So you can always send us those more detailed questions if need to, and we'll send out that one pager like Kate mentioned afterward.
Right. All right. I think everybody wanted answered. Let's stop the poll and see the results. Okay, so.
All right, so we're pretty well split here. So
Yeah.
we have about a third of the audience saying they have difficulty, a third saying they don't, and then a third saying that they've played with it, but have not really sent a message with it. Yeah. So again, this goes back, this is probably makes sense. It probably goes back to, hey, curious about it, but I don't really know how to get started, right? So you start playing with it, but then you don't really know what to do with it afterwards. So that's where it's important. But I think those things tied together, and I think it points a really good picture of just kind of that overall hurdle to get going. And then once you get going, how do we make it even better?
Right. Okay, then since most people, they didn't even, send a campaign, and 31% is struggling with building one. Let's just show our audience how you can easily do that.
Yeah, and real quick, let me navigate away from here real quick.
Sure.
All right, so real quick, we're in the platform here. You can see I've been doing really well at sales the last couple of days, so ignore those dashboards here. So if we want to easily create an SMS message, super simple to do. You're going to go to your campaigns just like you're going to when you're building an email campaign, and you'll have the option to create a new campaign in your upper right corner here. And then that's where you're going to have your options. So you have your traditional email, your A/B testing, and then you have the SMS option. So we're going to go ahead and create an SMS. And by the way, this is where anyone can jump into their account and play with it, like we had about a third of people do, but not actually send the message. So feel free to jump in and kind of go off it. I'm just going to go at 20% flash sale. So give it a simple campaign name, your sender name. So this is going to be country specific. We have a global audience today. So if we type in Omnisend here, for some countries that will have Omnisend show up in there. For the US and Canada, it doesn't support that. You're going to have a dedicated phone number or an actual number up there that's going to come through instead of Omnisend. So it's going to be country dependent. Our support form will tell you which countries support that or not. So if you are US and you type in Omnisend, you're fine there, or whatever your brand name is. The message text, this is where the magic happens. So it is SMS messaging. So we're going to have a limit of 160 characters to use here. So this is some of your best practices, right? Keep it short and sweet, 160% characters. This is where we're going to use it. So this is what we're going to play with. So let's just do 20% off, flash sale, today only. My typing is awful. You guys will have to bear with me, to pay only. So that's how we do it here. And it's really this simple. So you can just type it in here. You'll see the preview on the right-hand side there for how it's going to show up. And if we do, again, non-US, Canada ones, you'll see where the Omnisend or whatever your brand name you pop in there is. And then we can insert personalization in here as well. So again, you can play with it, but dear, we'll click right here, and then we can kind of choose whatever we want to, right? So we could do first name, last name, whatever we want to do here. So if we have that contact data, we can pull it in, and this is what it'll look like for us here. So we'll get into MMS a little bit later, but MMS is another form of SMS message where you're going to put an image in here as well. There are some changes to your SMS message that happens when you do that with character count and things. It does count as multiple messages. We'll get to pricing here in a second, which it'll just kind of break it down for you and kind of let you know what you're getting into before you actually send the message. But It's super simple. If we want to do this, we'll just stick a team image in here. So you can see we have an image here. Some of our lovely coworkers have the flash sale, and then we'll have our compliance factors at the bottom here. So you can insert what you need to, give them that unsubscribe option here. And that is really it. So you can play around with this, but it's that simple to create an SMS message. And as you move forward to your next steps, just like email, we can send it to our entire SMS list. We can send it to segments if we want to, and we can even exclude segments. So say we want to send it to, if we do segments here, let's just do 120-day buyers, but we can exclude people who maybe clicked on it or bought something within the past 7 days or haven't bought anything within the last 2 years. So you can play around with it and customize that audience you want to send it to. And then it'll give you pricing toward the end. So whether you have enough credits, you don't have enough credits, but you kind of get the makeup based on the audience you're sending it to. So we have a couple of Lithuanians, we have a couple of US people here. We're good to go. And then you can continue on. So it's that simple to build an SMS message or an MMS message for you just within the account. Go ahead and play with it and get used to building it. Throw some images in there, see what it looks like. And that's going to be step one to get you going on your SMS road here.
Great. Thanks, Greg. You know what I was thinking about? You were talking about SMS campaign. But what about automations? Like,
what am I doing here? Yeah,
is it even worth adding, SMS to automations? And if yes, how your automated workflow should start with email, or should you better start with SMS then?
Yeah, great question. And I apologize for skipping over the automation side because this is something I preach all the time. So shame on me, Greg. So campaigns, I'm not going to go through the entire setup for you. I'll just show you how easy it is to do. And then I'll talk to that question, Kate, about how we balance these things inside of the workflow itself. So if we want to create a new workflow, upper right corner, new workflow. Now you can create your own from scratch and build it however you want. You can customize a prefab template. You guys all know, maybe you don't if you're not an Omnisend customer, but we have these default templates for you to get you started. And down here in the lower left, we'll see email and SMS. So makes it get going really easy. And I'm just going to choose the abandoned car one to get going here. So when we get to our flow here, you can see there will be an SMS message somewhere in here. We can move that around. We can add more SMSs in here if we want to as well. And the process for building is going to be the same thing you did before. So you can see here, we have our sender's name. We have our text for the message here. We have our images if we want to include SMS in there. So your process is going to be the same thing. We're just deciding where we want to put it in here into the automated workflow. And the one thing with the automation is we have a lot of data on hand for the customer as well. So this is a shopping cart abandonment message. So say we want to build a message here, come back to your cart, and I'll probably misspell something there. I did, go me. But we have the option to then insert some of those dynamic pieces of content as well. So if I'm just going to do a search for abandoned cart URL. So we can take them right back to the cart through that SMS message as well. It makes it super easy for you. And again, you can customize this however you want. So I'm not going to go through the customization process for you. But the question is now, how do we balance these things? What makes an actual good workflow for an email and SMS side? So automations are extremely important. From an email standpoint, they're going to make up about 30% of your total sales, with roughly about 2 to 3% of your email send volume, because they're so relevant, they're timely, they're targeted, and that's why they convert well. And SMS is going to be the same thing from an automation standpoint. So again, the one thing to think about, if you are sending an SMS to someone, they have opted into that channel, just like email, it's an opt-in channel. So this goes back to the point of saying, hey, I'm worried I'm going to annoy my customers. Well, that's like saying, and we get this on email as well, but they've opted into email. Why would you annoy them by emailing them? Again, it's about relevant content here. SMS is the same thing. They're telling you that's a channel they prefer to interact with. And maybe they're an SMS only subscriber. They don't have email. Maybe they're both from that standpoint. Don't worry about annoying your customers with SMS if they've opted into it. As long as you're not sending them an SMS 3 times a day, you're probably okay. But let's get into the workflow then. So let's say I'm signed up for email and SMS from your brand. I abandon my shopping cart. What do we do from an automation standpoint? It's going to vary based on the type of workflow you have. But for something like abandoned cart, I would probably send them an SMS first and make that a lot quicker than that first email does. So try to get them to come back, strike while the iron's hot, maybe 30 minutes after. Then we can follow up with the email, say an hour or two after they actually abandon, and then balance there. You don't have to go tit for tat though. So one SMS, one email, one SMS, one email. You can use the SMS, and I probably would more sporadically. So I might do an SMS to start the workflow, continue on, your next message being an email, the next one being an email again. And then if you have a 3-part abandoned cart workflow, you might want to send an email there for those subscribers, and then kind of a final last chance or offer expiration with the SMS at that point. Or you could do 2 emails. Your SMS subscribers get your third message, technically fourth, but like where your third email would go, that would be an SMS instead. But your email only subscribers will get 3 emails at that point. So you're kind of have the ability to customize how you want to do it based on how you think your subscribers are going to act, and then watch the metrics and see how they go here. Talk about something like a welcome message, right? If they just signed up for your SMS program and email program, I would probably send them both right away. Start it going, and you might want to delay the email 30 minutes again, just to give a little break there, but they're not going to be in front of their email and SMS probably at the exact same time unless they're looking for a discount. And if you send them both channels and give them the discount, if you offer one for signing up, all you're doing is helping them. So you're setting the standards there. Browse abandonment, you might want to send a browse abandonment SMS right away and wait a couple hours on the email at that point. I know I got that from a brand a couple of weeks ago. I actually liked the experience a lot. They had just added abandoned cart SMS, or I'm sorry, browse abandonment SMS to their workflow, because I was usually getting their emails. This time I got the SMS, and it was really good for me. So, go through and abandon things yourself, walk through the process yourself and figure out, hey, this is where I would want an SMS and this is where I would not want an SMS, and use that as a benchmark. This is the nice thing about SMS with being quote unquote newer, but adopted, is you can play around with it, and there's really no right or wrong for these things. So it's a really long-winded answer, Kate, but I would say play around with it, but just kind of balance those messages. You don't have to go email, SMS. You can use the SMS a little more sporadically, use it kind of as a first touch, last touch type thing, and use the email in the middle there.
Okay, that sounds great. Then, like, now we know why SMS marketing is relevant. We know how to build an SMS campaign or add SMS to the workflow. Question is now, and for those who already, know why SMS is important and how to do that, what would be the do's and don'ts, like, the best practices if you decide to send that SMS campaign or add it to automation workflow?
Yeah, and I have a slide for that. So let's see if, sorry, I skipped over a success. We'll get back to that. Here we go. Found it here. So these are pretty straightforward here. I know I've touched on a few of these already, but a lot of it's common sense here. So if you're using SMS, just like email, you want to focus on list growth. So focus on growing the list. And that's a pretty simple thing to do. I'll show some examples here in a minute, but just adding a mobile number collection field to your pop-up or wherever your landing page or wherever you're collecting it from. Use it as a sales channel, right? It can be just an informative communication channel, but it has the impact to drive sales. So think of it as another sales channel, just like you would with social media marketing or paid search or whatever it is. Use it as a sales channel so you can actually grow your sales, because that's what it's there for. Messages, 160 characters on SMS. You actually can go up to 1,600 if you add an image in there, but it does take more. But overall, if you send me 1,600 words or 1,600 characters on an SMS message, I'm probably scanning that and not reading through the whole thing. Keep it short and sweet. Tell them what it is, have some fun with it, put a link in there, tell them where to go, and continue on with the day, because SMS, they want to read a book. Email, you have more leeway to send more content, more messaging, kind of keep them engaged here. Keep it short and sweet. Add it to your automations. It's going to be important. Again, those are timely, relevant messages sent to consumers who are taking specific action. So use it. And obviously you want to promote it there. So a good way to promote it is if you don't want to put it on your pop-up, or maybe in addition to, for those that weren't ready to sign up, but think about welcome series, having dedicated call outs in your messaging here. Same with any sort of automation you have a call out somewhere, secondary content, tertiary content in your emails that promote your SMS program, and give them a bullet point or two why you want to have them sign up. It could be exclusive deals, it could be last chance reminders, whatever it is, for kind of keeping it as a unique channel. Things I would recommend not doing, ignoring it, right? We've seen the trajectory of the adoption. Consumers are doing it. Don't think it's only for young people. This is something where this was email back in the day. This was the caveat talking point there. It's only for young people. Old people don't know how to use computers. And I say old loosely. We're just kind of having this lazy day. I'm on the couch and she has every sound on her phone on to full extent, right? So every time something happens, it's beeping and making noises and stuff. And we're there one day and it's like beep, beep, beep. And I'm just thinking family or friends are sending her messages, and God bless her, she just starts reading everything out loud because that's what she does, right? Nothing could be internalized. And she's reading all messages from brands and their SMS marketing. And I turn it, she is not a technology adopter by any stretch of the imagination, but she sees the value in SMS marketing. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for me, going, my mother, who is not a technology adopter, she likes shopping at brick and mortar stores. Like and everything e-commerce people do not like, right? And she's signing up for SMS messages, and it gets her to buy online. And that was kind of one of those eye-opening moments for me. So don't think it's for young people, because it's a mentality that's going to leave you behind your competitors. And then oversend. And what does oversend mean? It really depends on the brand and how often you normally send. I think for the most part, if you're a brand that does SMS and you've got a healthy list there, I would say 1 to 2 times a week is probably all you need, because if you do add it to your automations and consumers are taking actions, you're going to get some of those messages. So from an actual campaign standpoint, you're probably okay with once a week, maybe twice a week, but you don't have to use it like you do email if you send every single day. Consumers tolerate that. Probably a little less so on the automations or on the SMS standpoint, unless it's extremely relevant like automations are. So oversending is somewhat ambiguous, but I think once or twice a week is kind of a good benchmark to go with. And then as you add it to automation, it kind of lessens your reliance on needing to do that in general.
That's interesting. When you started talking about it's not for young people only, I actually wanted, because I have totally different, kind of opinion. I thought it's more popular among, elder people, or like adults rather than young people. Although, every teenager or every young person has their phone and constantly on their phone. I was still, for some reason, convinced more that they are not using, SMS to shop. So I wanted to ask you, like, how do you, because I don't really maybe know, how
colleagues and industry people and just kind of what I see. I would say young people, and I say young, I'm in my mid 40s, so young is all relative for me. Everyone's young, right? But I would say you might be right there, Kate, because they are definitely on social media a little bit more, especially the newer ones like TikTok. I say newer, but TikTok, right? You have a skewing aging demographic on Facebook, where you have like your quote unquote old people on Facebook now, but you still have some of these, and they kind of cycle through. So you might have more of the younger people. So we'll say like millennials and Gen Zers who are on social media a little bit more. But from my observation, talking to family members, talking to industry people, we are still seeing them sign up for SMS programs, because that's how they're chatting with their friends if they're not on social media. They're still using SMS quite a lot. So I think this is going to be like email, right? You have one demographic that starts off using a little bit more, and then it just kind of spreads pervasively across everyone else. And then you have some people using it more than others, but you still have a wide adoption across the board. And I think that's kind of where we're at. We have a wide adoption across the board, but you're always going to have one demographic skew a little heavier. So you might be right on this, right? It might be older people. I say older, myself and above, because I'll throw myself in the old group, who maybe use it a little bit more. But the purchasing power for everyone's still going to be there. And I think this goes into we talk some of the concerns earlier on when these polls was, I don't know how to get started. So I'm going to go back a slide here because this kind of ties into this. So this is a client of ours, Divatress, and I was talking to the owner, Rob, a year and a half ago. Maybe we did a podcast episode about SMS marketing together. And these were some of the takeaways they did on them. So he was in the same boat. He goes, I kept hearing about SMS. They have a generally younger demographic for their product. And he goes, everyone tells me it's good. He was really skeptical about the longevity of it. But he goes, you know what? How to get started? Easiest way to do it is to put an SMS sign up or mobile number sign up on your email form. And if no one signs up for it, that's your indication that your audience, whether middle-aged, older, or younger, it's not their jam, right? It's just not what they want. And if they sign up, it's them telling you, yes, we want it. So they threw it on there just to kind of dip their toe in the water and say, okay, what do we actually have going on here? And you can see this in 8 months, they had 70,000 SMS subscribers. So this might fly in the face of what you were saying, Kate, but I still think you have some credence to what you were saying. 70,000 subscribers, 8 months. They did over 100,000 in sales, and these were excess sales. They weren't cannibalizing from other areas. They had 13,000 SMS only subscribers, and I think this is really important too, because you have some people. Email is still accelerating. It's still doing extremely well. It's actually we see it doing better now than it was a couple of years ago from in terms of ROI standpoint. It was good back then too. But consumers are shifting here. So you think about it, you have 13,000 people that got to your website from some fashion. It could have been paid search, could have been organic, could have been social media, paid social. That email wasn't their jam, but SMS was. And now they have a first party piece of data where they can market directly to them, which is a lot cheaper than paid search, paid retargeting, paid social, that now they can communicate with. And maybe they can convince them to get into their email program. But this is really important for them. And now they're seeing this as a full-time channel for them. It's accounting about 7% of their total revenue, and their sales are continuing to go up. So, it's just a different way that they had to manage their paid spend, right? We could take a little bit away from social, a little bit away from paid search, which is more expensive. We can save some money. We can increase our profits, but we know this is a channel that has longevity to it. So I think that's a really good example of, we want an easy way to get started. Start collecting mobile numbers and let your audience tell you whether you should get started or not. It's a super simple way to do it, but here's the kind of the impact of it.
Well, numbers don't lie. So I think it could be, it's always good to try and, prepare a little to know how to, to have a success start. And I'm sure that you would, increase your revenue like the Divatress did. All right. So we are talking a lot about SMS marketing and how brands or customers should also, give it a try and start it. But I wonder, do you guys, our audience, do you subscribe to SMS messages from other brands? We can say that we want to, promote our brands, but do you subscribe to other brands? So let me launch a quick poll and just click a button, yes or no, and let's see what would be the result of this poll.
So Kate, do you?
Honestly, I don't.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like, let me tell you this. Before Omnisend, I wasn't into email marketing at all. Like, I was like, emails? Subscribe to emails? No, thank you. But I learned about it more, and then I got really interested. And I can tell you for sure that I definitely increased somebody's revenue, a lot because of the email marketing. But SMS, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I maybe subscribe to a couple of brands, but I don't know.
I'm subscribed. Well, I make up for both of us, right? I'll fill in your gap here because I'm subscribed for tons of them. Now, I will say this, right? I subscribe to probably more than I normally would because it's part of my job. It's what I do. I monitor these things. But if I was out of the industry, I would anyway. So my wife, she likes to shop, but she'll sign up for stuff. But she is very choosy about who she's signing up from SMS from. She'll do a couple. I think that's another important point as well. So you're not going to have people like me or the general consumer signing up for every brand's SMS message in the world. It's just they don't want that invite into their phones. They'll do that for
Right.
email because it's easy to ignore. You're not checking it all the time. It's not always this icon on your phone. So I will say this as well. This is probably why you don't need to oversend when you have SMS subscribers, but they're going to be choosy about who they're signing up from SMS from. At least they're going to have another criterion there. So if you do get an SMS subscriber, I would kind of count that as like 1.5 subscribers. I think you have a more engaged, maybe more profitable customer at that point, because they are going to be choosy. They don't want to invite 50 brands into their phone. They're going to invite that select few. So it's just a different way to think about that customer and maybe do some experimentation with that as well.
It's true. Yeah, I totally agree. I was thinking, what does brand need to do to kind of convince me to subscribe to their SMS marketing? And I'm not sure if I have the answer, but I think I would subscribe to something that is like really interesting to me. And if they kind of do more personalized SMS or like personalized this, and I think you're going to talk about it very soon, like how you collect SMS subscribers, right?
Yep.
If that form, that pop-up is attractive, that I would definitely subscribe. So that's very important to build that, to create that form properly. So before we go to forms and how we collect SMS subscribers, let me quickly share the results of our poll. And I don't know, am I surprised by these results or not? But we have 61% of people that subscribes to other brands and 39% that doesn't.
60% of the audience signs up for SMS from other brands and 40% doesn't. So let's just go across the board and say, let's just assume that number is for everyone, right across the board, not just the people on call today. We'll just say global audience. 60% of people. I mean, that's more than half, right? So like that, to me, that's a good number, right? And some brands are probably going to have a higher clip than others. Some brands are going to be a little bit lower. Maybe their product isn't a perfect fit for SMS or their audience isn't a perfect fit. And that's okay too. Nothing wrong with that. But in general, we have more than half the people saying, yep, I'm cool with that channel and I do it for other brands. There's obviously some value for the person signing up in there. Otherwise, they would opt out of it. So it's, we want to create a good user experience, but that tells me, this goes in the numbers, we see growth year over year. 5 years ago, do we think that number was 60%? I would say no, it's probably well below the 50% mark. But I mean, maybe that's a good follow-up question here is like, when did you start signing up for them? But to me, that's a really powerful number. We have more than half the people signing up for them. I think 5 years ago, that's not the case.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Let me stop sharing and close this poll. So I think it's time to move to the most important part, how you collect those SMS subscribers. How do you successfully do that?
Excellent. And I'm not really looking at the webinar chat, but I see something. I just looked over and I see this thing from Christian here, and I think it's funny. He goes, I subscribe for SMS for the deal. And then once I opt out once I make the purchase.
Okay.
They got you a channel to drive a conversion. So, hey, you send one message, which costs you what, 2-3 cents. You get a conversion.
Yeah.
Right? If Christian leaves that website, what's the brand doing at that point? Right? He might have a welcome series on email because he's probably signing up for the email to get the promo code too. But once he leaves the website, he's open for comparison shopping. He's maybe open for paid retargeting or paid search, whether it's social media or search. Those things are a lot more expensive to do. So yeah, we do a paid Instagram ad. Christian clicks on it, comes back. We're paying a lot more than 3 cents to get him to click to come back. And now you're spending more money to acquire that customer where, a 2 to 3 cent SMS could have sealed the deal for you. So I love the fact you said that, Christian. I think there's a lot of value that just proves that, hey, this can be an instantaneous channel for you. If you're offering a promo code, get it to them right away and let them make the conversion before they leave the website. So thanks for sharing that. All right, now we're going to pivot back. I'm all over the place today, Gabe, but hopefully everyone can follow me here. All right, so let's get started. I talk about, I've just got a bunch of different examples here. I'm going to walk you through both from an SMS standpoint and list growth standpoint. So again, the simple way to get started is just ask for the mobile number. So I pulled together a couple different examples. Some of these are templates in the Omnisend account too. So if you're looking for a template or a pop-up to kind of get you started, scroll through our pre-built template, customize them how you want, but some of these are actually those. But it's simply just adding another field to it. Now you can collect SMS only. So if you have a couple, a couple pages on your website that you want to have just show up in SMS only pop-up form, you can do that as well. So maybe you're doing a paid campaign or something very specific. You can play with it, but it's simple. Email address, phone number. I would collect it all in the same. Don't do these two-step forms where they have to sign up for both to get the discount. I did a podcast episode, which is on our YouTube channel, about this a couple of weeks ago, where that's something that drives us crazy. But let them know why they're signing up for. Email, SMS. Hey, great deals, don't miss offers, exclusive, whatever it might be. Make sure you have the legal compliance on there, which we will direct you into making sure you have that on your form so you're legally compliant there, and have them plop in their mobile number here. And then you can set up your automation. Again, you can use the templates in our account from the automation side to kind of get those going for you. But like everything else, you mentioned, Kate, it's got to be a nice looking pop-up form. So brand it, put your logo on there, do something funny that fits your branding on here. It's a couple of examples as well. We could do them maybe just for Black Friday deals. So think about, it's only May now, but Black Friday planning for most brands is coming up a lot quicker than you think. I know we're already talking about it internally because brands are talking about it internally, but maybe that's an area you want to start using. SMS is a great last chance reminder, especially on those high volume email volume days like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, even Thanksgiving here in the US, high send volume days. So you've got a lot of competition in the email inbox. SMS might be a great way to break through some of that clutter and stand out. So maybe you want to do Black Friday or Cyber Monday exclusive offers only from SMS, or use it as a channel to drive people to your email. But here's a couple examples of ways you can do that as well. And then just one more, right? We see a couple really nice branded forms here that fit their branding. It's pretty, it lets them know what they want to do. But again, we're just asking them for a mobile phone number. And that's the beauty of it. If they don't want to sign up for it, they don't have to sign up for it. You give them the option to do so there. And I think ultimately that's what's important. Don't make it a required field, right? If you don't have to, but you make the option and they can close out of it and sign up at any time they want. So hopefully this gives you some creative inspiration for how to do it. You don't have to overthink it though. It doesn't need to be the most earth-shattering thing because it's a phone. Just let them know and have some fun with it and make sure it fits your branding.
Awesome. Great. We are heading towards the ending. So I'm thinking let's wrap it up with summarizing the most important tips how to succeed with your SMS marketing. Let's just quickly go over again of with your personal tips, like what's most important to follow, like short as SMS or long, or all these things. What do you think is most important?
I'm going to scroll through just a couple of examples here, just so when you guys are viewing the recordings, you have the examples to look at. So they're more creative inspiration for you. Now I'll kind of talk while we keep it going here, and I'll try to be quick, which Kate, I'm not a quick, I'm very long-winded here. So, all right, keep it short and sweet. I mentioned before, we have limited number of characters. Let them digest it very quickly. Give them a link. Let them click on it and get going over there, whether you're using SMS or MMS. Keep it short and sweet. Keep the message focused. Let them click and get on and hopefully make the purchase like Christian does over there. Use MMS, but I wouldn't use it every time, right? Use it. There's different ways you could use it, right? You see the one to the right side, it's more just like a hero image. We can spell out what the offer is in there. We can use product branding. I wouldn't use MMS every single time. It does cost a little bit more. It's not really necessary every time, but if you have something where you have maybe a new product alert or a product drop or Black Friday deal where the image would really accentuate the text in there, might be a good time to use it. But don't feel you have to use it every time, but it's a nice break every now and then, especially if you have something very specific for it. Use it in your automation. So specifically welcome cart abandonment and browse abandonment. These are the three that if you're going to do it, use it absolutely in, but don't ignore your transactional messages. I'm going to bet most people love getting SMS messages. It's like, hey, your order just shipped, or your order is getting delivered today. Your order has just been delivered. These are things that really keep people in the know. It makes your brand feel very trustworthy. So feel free to use it in automation. Again, balance a little bit, but do your best with it and have some fun. Again, it is a fun channel, so use some emojis in there if you want to. Like, you can do whatever you want with SMS and have a good time. Here's just a couple more examples of automation, right? Cart's ready. So this is more just a creative inspiration for you. And then finally, ways to use it. Here's just some ideas, right? Remember, it is time sensitive. People are going to check their text messages within a matter of minutes, where email, it might be seconds, minutes, hours, maybe even days. So it's great for flash sales, great for last chance reminders, things like that. You can use it, like I mentioned, those high days. You got a bunch of Black Friday deals. Hey, check out your email for all the latest and greatest Black Friday offers today. Make it exclusive, right? We want to provide some exclusive discounts or exclusive offers or something in the text message, so it's not the exact same thing as your email, because otherwise, why do I need to be signed up for one or the other? I've mentioned automation already, so I'm going to skip over that one. Finally, important, often overlooked by brands, it replaces email unsubscribes. We're going to have people unsubscribe from our email program. It happens. That's the fun of it. It keeps our list clean. I love unsubscribes, gives you list growth. But what happens when they are email and SMS subscribers and they unsubscribe from email? Well, we have a first party way to communicate with them that is much cheaper than paid search and paid social. We can even use that to update our retargeting segments on paid search and paid social as well. So we can hopefully reduce customer acquisition, reacquisition costs, whatever there, but it provides us that one-to-one communication channel, even if they decide email is no longer my jam here. So think about that. It's just a supplement for you. That's a lot cheaper than some of those paid search ones as well. So creative inspiration. Hope I got to that quick enough for you, Kate. And here's my contact info. So if you have any questions on me, for me, hit me up.
Yeah, awesome. I think it's a perfect moment to wrap it up. Thank you, Greg, so much for sharing so many great tips and tricks. I think now, like, I was doubting SMS before, but it does seem like it's definitely worth trying it, because if you're doing that right, I think you can, increase your revenue and not to miss out all of that money you can earn. And promote your brand, promote your products properly. Let's answer some questions while we have time for it. Ira did an amazing job. She covered everything. So let me just pick some questions, to read out loud, and, in case other people were wondering as well, had the same question like that. And I wanted to start with this question. So somebody asked, and it was an anonymous question. We have a combined 3.5 million plus subscribers across our social media channels. How do we leverage that through SMS marketing?
So there's kind of two things you can do here, but they're really going to point down to the one thing is, right, it's all going to come down to your SMS subscribers. So again, it's an opt-in channel. Can't just pull them over, opt them into it. What you can obviously do it from an organic social or even paid social if you wanted to, based on the value you put on the SMS program, or at least want to play with it, is invite them to sign up for your SMS program. So, you can create landing pages in Omnisend. So you can always direct them to your website to sign up if you have a pop-up or something there, but you can create a specific SMS landing page, opt-in landing page that you can direct them to as well. So you're not disrupting the user experience on your website, but it's a dedicated campaign. You can look at the traffic there. You can look at submission rates, things like that. Once you start collecting those, what you can do at that point is, obviously you have SMS where you can send campaigns and build in automations for them, but you're also tying in that whatever email address or the contact info is into, the e-com platform or Omnisend. Those things will be talking to each other. But when you want to retarget those customers on social media for either coming to the website or not coming to your website over a certain period of time, what you do have then is you have those lookalike audiences or whatever user groups you're using to build your retargeting audiences on social media. You can sync that from Omnisend onto those platforms as well. So you can theoretically reduce the size of your retargeting, either to eliminate those subscribers from your retargeting efforts or target exclusively those subscribers on social media. So hopefully we're making our retargeting efforts more targeted, make them less expensive, more profitable for you, which ultimately increases your margins and your your profits there. So hopefully that makes sense, that answer, but pretty much we're leveraging the SMS, get them to subscribe, and then we're resyncing those retargeting segments onto social media there, and hopefully just increase your profits.
Right. Great. I have another question, and it's about compliance. And I also wanted to, ask that if you could just mention something about all these compliance rules. So the question is, I would love to know more about, and pardon me if I will read it wrong because I'm not sure what the name of that compliance, but I would love to know more about the A2P 10 DLC compliance and what this is exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going to punt on this one a little bit. I'm obviously not a lawyer, as you guys can all tell by the way I speak, but I'm not a lawyer. There's different regulations for all over the place, right? Based on where you're sending from and sending to and things like this. I don't know those specific ones ins and outs where I can give you an accurate detail. I know our Omnisend, we can walk you through that. We have some of that documentation on our knowledge base as well. If you are an Omnisend customer, want to contact their support, they're familiar with all that and they can kind of point you the right way. So I hate to push you somewhere else, but I'm going to give you the best answer for you.
Okay.
However, we'd be happy to follow up with you with the Q&A and point you to some links there that can kind of explain those things in pretty good detail for you.
Yeah, all the laws and stuff. It's definitely, hard to keep everything and, in your head, but no worries. Ira actually already covered that. So we have a good answer in the chat. So if anybody else was wondering about that compliance, you can find the answer in the Q&A tab under the question. And you will definitely find that answer in the Q&A one pager that we will send out. So no worries about that. I have another question about the bounce rate. And so the question is, do the SMS bounce rates include messages that were blocked by a carrier like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, etc., or are messages blocked by a carrier included in the delivery rate?
Ooh, I don't know how we calculate that in Omnisend.
Okay.
I'm going to guess it's the latter. It's calculated in delivery rate, but I don't know 100%. So I'm sorry, but we can get that answer for you.
Okay, that's good. We will definitely include, we will double check with our product team and make sure to provide you the best answer on that. So, okay. Ira covered everything and she covered it perfectly. I think that was an awesome workshop. So thank you, Greg, again for sharing your expertise with us today. And thank you all of you for participating, joining us today. Remember that the workshop is recorded and we will send you the recording in a couple of days to your email inboxes, and you will be able to find it on our YouTube channel as well. And all the important resources, useful resources, and the one pager with all the answers to questions will be included under the video and inside the email. So again, thank you so much. Don't forget about the survey when you leave the workshop. We will really appreciate your feedback, your thoughts. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much again for participating.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.